Hi, my name is Arnoud. Uh, Welcome to Dubai. I'm making this video of you from Dubai, and I want to really thank you for buying my Switchbox. This thing has a bit of a history. I'm doing here in Dubai a show called The Art of Magic, and I really enjoyed balance when I saw it. You know, but I'm a bit of a student of Tommy Wonder, and he always, taught me, you know, even if you do something suspicious, but the audience does not recognize it immediately that it is the method, but they suspect maybe there is, there's a little inkling in the back of their mind. And that's exactly what happened when I saw Josh putting his hand in the box. And I just didn't like it. It's such a beautiful effect, and that switch is so crucial for the moment. It needs to be spick and span clean. So I started to work on several methods, and I would really say I probably made something like 7, 8 prototypes until I finally settled on this box. And thanks for buying it. The ones that you see me use or Josh use on the explanation video was this one, but you're going to get this version. You know, I wanted to have these made. I really wanted to have a quality product, so I been shopping around and finally found an incredible craftsman in Holland who made this for me. And when you got them in your hand, you really see it's laser cut. The finishes are perfect. This is really a professional piece and much better than what I had. However, the version I had was still a prototype, and I'm going to demo it on this one, but it's exactly the same dimensions and same functioning, just that this one's had a few things that I didn't like yet. So that was going to be fixed in the final version. So this is the box, and I assume you have seen the explanation video, so there's no mystery for you, but basically the switch happened like this. The back of the box has a flap, and at the bottom of the box there is a secret compartment. You unload the items that need to be switched, that are being switched in here. You dump them into the back, and as you lift off the box, the other items are in here. This is the functioning of the box, but there are a few tips that I really would like to make sure you get as you start using the box. First of all, how to load it, and secondly, the context and how you really do the switch in the most optimal, undetectable manner. I've done it probably around 20, 30 times here in Dubai, and I still have my wife, who's in the audience, said, I thought you forgot to switch. Yeah, so it is really very deceptive if done right. So let's start with the preparations of the box. So inside the box there is a little sledge, a drawer, or I don't know how you call this exactly. It has the ones you're going to get is much better than my prototype, but the idea is it has the cutout for the toothbrush, the pencil, and the boxes. You put this one in the bottom with the long compartment to the back. So that's the side with the flap. Yeah? So you put it in the back and you close it. You open the compartment so you can easily get there. So what you do next is basically you start loading it in. You hold the hand against the compartment. You first take the cigarette box or the crayon box, depending what you use, and the card box, and you put them in the white compartment. You'll see that fits exactly. And you slide it a little bit backwards so it holds it. Then you take the toothbrush and the pencil and you put them together. Just one little tip, don't put them on the magnet side together, but put one magnet here and one magnet there. Yeah, so they are not connected when they get out. You put these over here in the compartment and you slide all of this to the back. And so it's now locked in. So you can see that if you bring this up, nothing is going to fall up out of the bottom. Okay? Got that? Go. So this is the box from the inside, and I'm going to show you how to load it from this way. Yeah, I do have a ladder, and I usually put that at the bottom, covering the T-shaped hole that you now will see at the bottom. Yeah, so just make sure it is covering that T-shaped hole. That's one thing. I put the toothbrush and the pencil at the sides, a bit in a diagonal way, and I put the cigarette box and the card box on top of it like that. And so it's all like that, and nothing really can fall out. That's the only thing you need to watch out, and that's why the ladder is very important, because it's covering the hole. Okay? So when that's all of it loaded, you can bring on the box on the table, and you do your story, and I'll share you a little bit at the back of this video, you know, my type of story. But you open the box, you take out the toothbrush, always a bit of a laugh, you know, they don't expect the toothbrush, give it out for examination, a pencil, and then I take out the card box and the cigarette box, or the crayon box, depending what version you use. Okay? You give them out for the examination. Next thing, you take the ladder. And as you take out the ladder, you basically move that sledge that's at the bottom to the back. Move it to the back. Now, your objects will be on the table. It's important that you have a table with a bit of a cloth. It dampens the noise a little bit. Okay? As you close the box, you're basically opening the flap. Okay? I then give the letter, my letter is in Hindi, I'll come back to it later. In the audience, I usually give it 1 or 2 rows behind the front row where I've handed out the object. Or the bigger stage, you move it a little bit out to the side. Very important for misdirection later on. What I do now is I collect the items. There is a bit of a sequence. First I take the items that I gave out first, so toothbrush and the pencil, and then I take the 2 boxes, and I put this all at the bottom of my hand, like this. Yeah? So it's really on my resting on my fingers. So this is important. Yeah? This in the middle of the toothbrush and the pencil, like that. And what you now basically like to simulate is lifting up the box and putting these items on the table. And I do that with some misdirections. As I've handed out these, I look to the person that has the letter. And I say, you still have the letter. You understand what I mean? I come back in that story later. And when I direct my misdirection to that person, I basically put the items in the back, and I'm not throwing it. I put the items in the back, and I lift this up in a very smooth manner. And as I've lifted it up, I push with my finger the items that come up from the bottom forward. Yeah? So this is one smooth motion, like this, in a flow. You put it in the back, you look to the person, and you lift it forward. You put them to the back, you throw them in the back, you lift this up, and you push them forward. It's like this, in a flow. You put it in the back, you look to the person, and you lift it forward. Let me show it again, prepare it again. You open it up, toothbrush, pencil, cigarette box, cigarette or crayon, card box, give them out. You take out a letter, open it up, tell your story, whatever the letter is. While you're told, you move this one to the back, you close this. And you open the flap. Usually give this to someone 3rd row, 2nd row. You take back the pieces. Take these in the palm of your fingers, in the backwards end of your fingers. This one against it at the bottom. We're now going to do the flow. We're putting it in and we're moving this forward. Okay? And really, trust me, it's undetectable. Now, something important, what I'm doing, is I am moving this While I'm putting this down, I'm going to basically put this out of the way. I move this a bit backwards. Yeah? Very quickly, nonchalant. On the back, you see there is foam. And then I put it on the bottom. And when you put it with a bit of a, you see, the flap will close. You will notice the flap will make a bit of noise. You know? But really, this is done on the offbeat. You put it away like there's nothing to do anymore. Because if you're very quiet, you hear noise. Tick, tick. Yeah? Really trust me, but especially if you use a bit of music or it's, you know, out of sight. You put it on the bottom and you don't pay any attention to it and you talk around it. And basically it gets lost with the sound of putting this on the tape on the ground as well. Yeah? So you'll see, you will notice it, you will hear it yourself, but really do not worry about it. You know, you talk about it like that. Really nothing to worry about. Okay? That basically is the trick. So I really would like you to practice that flow, because and I would say this is the deceptive part of moving this forward. Now, even if it's a few centimeters, that's absolutely essential to create that idea of it. But you basically is trying to emulate is this, you know. This is over there, this in your hand, and this you put there. Yeah? That is what the audience is believed to be seeing. And that's really what they see. Yeah? A few things about my story, because I think I like that story as well. I do this probably like many of you at the end of my show. And you know, my show is called The Art of Magic, and I have various themes. And I always end with, you know, people always ask me, what is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in magic? People ask me. Apparently no one here tonight. Yeah, bit of a laugh. But in case someone asks, you know, I tell you a story about something I saw 5, 6 years ago in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Mumbai, in India. In Mumbai, there is an area called Bandra. Trust me, it exists, Bandra. And I was walking there, it was sweaty, it was late, I had my water with me, and at the corner, I saw a crowd. I looked at that and I thought there must be magic, you know, I'm always intrigued by magic, so I looked at there, yes, there was a guy in the middle of the street, a bit of, you know, barely dressed, but doing the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. He did objects that he had found on the street. It was incredible. I watched it once, I watched it twice, I watched it probably 6 times until everyone was gone, and I finally took the courage and knocked him on the shoulder and said, "Sir, I really love what you did." He said, "Thank you very much." And, you know, I'm a magician myself. I would love to do this trick. Can I buy this from you? I said, "Sir, no. I got this from my daddy and his granddad. You know, this is our family tradition. I cannot really share this with, and you should know that you're a magician. You know, we never explain the tricks." I said, okay. I respect that. So I gave him my business card. And you wouldn't believe it. 3 years later, I was sitting at home and the doorbell rang. And it rang again. It rang twice. I said, that must be the postman. You know, the postman always rings twice. And he brought a box. I opened it, and inside the box was this beautiful wooden box. I had no clue what it was. I opened it up, and you wouldn't believe what was in there. There was in it a toothbrush, and then you see, this is how my story starts. When I get to the letter, I basically say, at the end, I found a letter. Unfortunately, the letter was in Hindi. So I had to study Hindi to perform this trick for you. "Sir, would you mind holding this letter and read it out for me?" Funny thing in Dubai is there are always a lot of Indians in there, so they'll read about the story, and you know, I got someone write up something in Hindi. At the end, basically, after I've done the switch, and I'm going to introduce what I've done. "Sir, you read it. If they speak Hindi, it's okay. If they didn't, you say, well, let me explain you about this trick. This is the name of the trick. And then, I think it's like this. This is the name of the trick. And then I try to see if there is someone in the audience that speaks Hindi. And in Dubai, I'm pretty lucky. I said, you speak, what is on here? And then they usually say something in Hindi, and I forgot about it. I said, do you have an English word for it? And then they usually say balance. I said, well, that's exactly the name of this trick. Let me show you this trick. And then I go into the trick. So I like your story. I got some nice music with it, and I really, but feel free to use my story, feel free to use my jokes. But yes, please, by all means, use your own story, and I really hope you have a lot of fun with this. This is, probably one of the most beautiful things that I ever made. And I made this. I need to tell you this. I made this, and I sent a video like this to Joshua J, and he was so pleased with this one. And to be honest, I was double pleased when he showed it as part of his explanation video. And I'm triple pleased to know that you're now going to do this in your show, my box, in your show with Joshua's effect. It can't be a better thing. I really hope you enjoy it. And thanks again for buying my balance box.